Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking all things periods. So yeah, we're
like
gonna
a
get
no question,
a little up close and personal.
That's real close.
I have partnered with Tampax. You guys have seen on my Instagram me kind of dialoguing with you guys about the different myths and misconceptions that we've heard about tampons growing up. I know a lot of us have heard a lot of different things, some true, some not. But today I kind of just want to talk about it with you guys. Periods and just menstrual cycles have been a serious part of my life, and I feel like I've never really talked to you guys. I just always say I'm PMSing, I'm on my period, I'm breaking out, all that stuff. You guys kind of heard that, but I've never really had a video talking about it with you guys. So today, that's what we're going to do. So the campaign with Tampax has asked me to do a video with my mom about what she's told me and what her mom told her and the different things that she's heard about tampons. So without further ado, let's get to it. Where do we even start?
Let's start when you first got your period. And
oh my gosh.
Well, actually, prior to you having your period, we did have conversations because a lot of your friends in school,
they got them before me,
right? And they were and then some were lying. I remember lying about my period just to seem
Remember
like I
when
was
I played
older.
that prank on you?
Oh my God! Let's talk about that.
Food coloring. This is before I even got my period.
Why did you do that?
It was April Fool's, and I put food coloring. I want to say I was like 9, and I put food coloring in the pad, and
you
started
like 7,
screaming.
Probably.
I was young. And I started screaming and had my mom come to the bathroom, and she saw all this blood everywhere, and she freaked out until she realized that's not even what that looks like.
Like it was too red. First of all, it was like I know what blood looks like, and I've had a period.
What possessed me to do that?
Like you were so.
I was bored.
You were beyond bored. I think she was exploring and trying to find herself, but actually, it was an introduction. For me, it was the open door for me to really begin this, to start the conversation with her. I thought she was a little young for it, but I knew they were talking about it at school. So I'm like, let's just go ahead and have this conversation so she can stop playing with my emotions, with food coloring and wasting pads, and it, as a matter of fact, it wasn't even a full pad. It was a
panty liner. A panty liner.
That's what it was. So I'm just like, yeah, right, sure. Where did you get the panty liner from? Stop wasting stuff.
The story is I was a mess, and I did that, and I don't know what I was doing. But when I actually started my period, it was actually right before a vacation. So
a family vacation. So I was freaking out. I was happy that I had started my period because I was like, oh, I'm a woman now. But I was still like, wait, that means I can't enjoy my family vacation. I can't swim.
Yeah. So myth number 1 is if you use a tampon, you are not a virgin, or you're not a virgin, or that would be your first experience. And a lot of you guys, when I posted on Instagram some of the myths for you guys to tell me some of the myths you've had, that was like a main
like a number one.
That is absolutely positively 1000% not true.
How would they find that out? How could they know how?
Well, research in general.
Do your research. And we didn't do that as parents. Do your research for yourself, especially if you have a younger daughter, and the question does come up. And if their periods and menstrual cycles are as horrible as JaLisa's was, it immediately went into like a mental thing, an emotional thing, where she was constantly crying, but she was constantly in pain. It wasn't anything. I thought that part was kind of normal at first, but being that it was our first real family vacation, and then bam, we had to deal with that. Of course, the first thing they say, if you're swimming or going in a pool, you can't wear a pad, or it could drop out of your bathing suit, or it was crazy stuff I heard. But a tampon was the way to swim.
Yeah.
And with thinking that it would be a problem, I didn't want to do that.
So, moral of the story is using a tampon has no impact whatsoever on your virginity at all. So that is completely and totally a myth.
So kill that one.
Yeah, exit out. It's not real.
Not the truth.
Another myth that we've heard is just that they're uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's a myth, but I think for me and through learning, life, if they're not comfortable, that typically means that you're not inserting them properly. And it took me a long time to learn that. So Myth number 2 is that tampons are uncomfortable.
Let's talk about that then.
What do you mean?
Because I think if you buy, there are different sizes, by the way. There are different, you can find exactly the right thing to accommodate you, and then follow
the instructions.
The instructions.
The instructions.
Nobody reads instructions. They're like, oh, I heard, just go and whip it up. But with tampons, my sister is the first one that taught me how to use them. My mom discussed them with me,
but she never
on a regular negative way of like, if you're using tampons, you've had sex. But my sister actually showed me, who's 4 years older than me, showed me how to use them properly. Well, I tried to use them on my own, and I went in there, and then all of a sudden I started hollering and screaming because I didn't know what I was doing. And she was like, "What are you on the floor trying to insert inside of your body?" But I was just trying to, without actually having my period, to just see if it worked. I know, like really dry pain.
That's
so it was. She came in and rescued me. But if there's no discussion, if there's no
reading
research,
of instructions and research,
you gotta do your research.
And one thing that I've noticed is that if it is uncomfortable, it typically means it's not all the way in as well.
Absolutely.
So I think reading the instructions is also a huge part. So another myth that we've heard was that tampons are only for swimming. And like I told you guys, I got my period right before a vacation. So I'm sure my mom, she with what she had already heard about tampons, she was like, "Oh crap, I'm gonna have to probably show her." I don't even remember what we did. What did we do?
We were in the Bahamas, and
but did I wear? I didn't wear a tampon. I still wore a pad.
You still wore a pad, but you didn't get all the way under the water.
Okay. And
I feel like Jalisa still kind of had her fears about tampons.
A long time.
The whole menstrual cycle issue was some fears. So I just think that it's important to have those conversations, and tampons would have really been a help if I had been taught properly about them and understood the myths, that they were myths and not facts. Again, I say go back to the research about tampons because that's important. Parents can really scar children, causing them to think that you only need them when you swim, but what about a pair of white pants, or a white suit day? So,
or just for more coverage. I feel like there are a lot more, and you don't have like the diaper booty and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I feel like if I would have started wearing tampons a lot earlier, I would have noticed, one, that they feel good. They, if you insert them properly, they're good. But yeah,
if we had read the instructions
and did them properly,
and did some
we would have been good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so myth 3 is that they're only for swimming, and that is absolutely not true.
Excellent.
And that brings us to the 4th myth, which is you cannot wear them overnight, which is totally untrue. We get up to go to the bathroom and do stuff overnight anyway. So the best practice is to put a new tampon in before you go to sleep, and then first thing when you wake up, you change it again. So it's totally untrue that you cannot wear them overnight.
And if you have a certain kind of flow, you just, again, know your body. If your menstrual cycle is heavy, there are little signs about a tampon that can give you all the cues. If the blood has come down to the stick part, to the thread part of it, like that's a sign that you need to change it
a little bit more often.
Yeah, and maybe it won't go 8 hours for you because of your cycle and the heaviness of your cycle and your flow. So keep that in mind too. But
just
you can wear them at
body.
night.
You can wear them to sleep. You can wear them wherever. It's not just for swimming, and it's not just for daytime. So I hope that this brings a little bit more enlightenment to you guys about tampons in general. I think in the comments it would be cool if you guys can kind of dialogue a little bit and share some of the different things that you've heard, because I think it would be interesting to hear more myths and misconceptions and what you guys have noticed as you've gotten older and as you've embraced your body as a woman and learned different things about yourself. I think for me, I've always had super, super heavy, disgusting periods as far as just the way I feel and things like that. But wearing tampons gives me a lot more mobility, and I don't feel as constricted. I
was happy when you started wearing tampons. Actually,
was I an adult?
You were probably an adult, not at my house, but I was actually happy because I understood that you had a life where she loved to swim, she loved to do other things,
and I always come on before vacation.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Even more so than just being on my flow. Anytime I go on a vacation, people are like, "Oh, here she goes. She's about to be moody." But I don't know. It's kind of just like my lot, I guess. But I've always come on. So tampons have just become a regular thing, or they are a regular thing for me.
But they've been a beneficial thing for you too.
Oh, very beneficial.
Because it was not, the pads couldn't hold you. The tampons have been, like I said, as a parent, and knowing and understanding the pain that she was going through, the tampons really gave me a relief that she could live a normal life and swim and enjoy herself and not worry about that. I want to say to parents out there, to mothers, and you have younger daughters, ask some of your concerns about it. Like, let's talk, let's share. As JaLisa said, let's just make sure that we get the right information.
And you guys know from our previous videos that we have these intense conversations on the regular. So you guys have seen in some of our other mother-daughter videos us talking about things that even she was uncomfortable about at first, but I think that they were very beneficial. Even with, her getting some myths from her mom, my grandmother. But kind of just having those conversations to figure out, okay, what's true and what's not. What can we do research on? And having those uncomfortable conversations. And I mean, we're all women here. So we all got it. We all got to deal with it.
Couple guys on your line, so don't.
Yeah, but they could just ignore it and actually
talk to your mom.
Watch it, and learn how to handle your girlfriends and wives and stuff.
Yes.
When we have these moments,
or when you have a daughter, because there are some men out there who are raising their daughters that I've had call me and say, "What do you think about the difference between my daughter wearing pads and tampons when she's with me? She came on her period. Oh my God, what am I supposed to do?" So I'm saying it's for everyone. Make it casual, but make sure you have the conversation and the facts, and do a little bit of research. But above all, read the instructions and follow what you read, along with knowing your body.
Yes, agreed. So we encourage you guys to have these conversations.
Yes.
I absolutely love Tampax. Tampax Radiant are my favorite. Number one. If you guys have any questions, concerns, input, please leave it down in the comments below. We encourage you to have these conversations with your daughters, sisters, aunties, cousins, whatever the case may be, grandmothers, and do the research together to learn the facts and so we can stop passing down these unfactual things to each other. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Tampax, for bringing this topic to me and allowing me to dialogue with my audience. I love my mama. You guys know I love her. I always love having her on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Mother's Day was just the other day, so we are still celebrating mom and daughter time. So peace out. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next video. If you're not following us, you know what I'm going to say. If you're not following us, hit the subscribe link below, and also follow both of us on Instagram, LTVaughn, JaLisaEVaughn. You guys already know. It's in the description as well. Peace out. Is this thing on?
I think so.
You telling me to sit up and you...
I am so arched.
Like...
I am so very...
maybe I'm just too tall.
You're just like... And you're so short in real life.
You should get your own YouTube channel.
And do what?
Talk about stuff.